destination is on the left.
Got Dave and myself. We want to get back out there and meet as many of you as we can possibly meet. And get the interviews from those of you mainstream media has been ignoring. We're not going to ignore you.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the Love America Tour live stream. Already the chat is filling up with people. Hello everybody, glad to have you on board. Couple of announcements, some of them are recurring. Let me pop this up here right quick. Cookbook, Black Cookbook, send your recipes to plainsimpleryan@gmail.com. We have until the end of this month to get our recipes in. What kind of recipes? Any kind of recipes. Whatever kind of recipes make you happy. And if you like, include a little story about how they came about, if there is one. We got all kinds of people saying hello in the chat. Hello. I'll read them off here in a minute. Want to remind you that September the 13th, as I look over here at my calendar, September the 13th to the 19th, I will be taking a week off, which means that we won't have a show on the 16th or the 19th. We will have one this Saturday, and then we will have one, we'll start back up again on the 23rd. Let's see. I believe this Saturday we have Joe Williamson. Also, we'd like to open up some of the Wednesdays to international guests and members of the Latt family who would like to be on the show but haven't been weren't interviewed necessarily in part one. If you're interested in that kind of a thing, email streaming at loveamericatour.today, or you can DM me on Twitter. So let's see what else we have. Also, if you are on Twitter, and then you know that the Latt family has been very active on Twitter for quite some time. I'd like to remind you to go ahead and add the hashtag for Love America Tour. If we can get a day where we all add the hashtag to all of the tweets that happen, you never know. We might even be able to get it trending. It's a possibility. We don't have a guest for you today, but that's okay, because we have a couple we're going to try something a little bit new, since we couldn't get a guest for this evening. I don't have my staplers, Christina. Not this time. Maybe next time. We'll see. Where was I at? Oh yes, we're going to do a little bit about positivity, and then we're going to do a couple of positive news stories that are out there that you won't see on the news, but they are happening. And then we're going to bring everybody in, the road crew and Bobby Benn and everybody, to talk about unity and some of the possibilities that are out there. So looking forward to that. Real quick, I reckon let's go ahead and... Yes, Christina, you did. You did make me lose my train of thought. I looked over there and I heard staplers and I thought, okay, next time. But only for a little bit, not for the whole thing. All right. So positivity, I want to bring it back around a little bit to words, because words are important and words have power. And to illustrate that, I'm going to try and bring you back to as we were kids, we were growing up, we were constantly told that the things that we say matter and to be careful what we say to other people. But nobody ever warned us really to be careful about what we say to ourselves. And words have meaning, even if it's just connotation, even if it's slight, and we can start to believe that. So, when you say things like, I don't have a choice, like we talked about the first time we did that, that's not really the case. And it kind of puts you in a prison. And if we can learn to use words that empower us in a situation rather than take our power away, it's much easier to remain positive. Another thing to think about, I've been watching the discussions this week on social media with the Latt fam. Just because you choose a direction doesn't mean you're tied to it. doesn't mean you can't change it. We have a thing where we kind of get locked into stuff and we forget, what we do needs to be enjoyable. If it's not, it's a drag. And nothing says that just because, like I said, you chose a direction that you can't change that direction. And I'll use Christina Shaw as an example. Was a nurse, now going into the GIS map making. I started out in the military and went into the fire department did that in my early 30s, actually. So, don't be encumbered necessarily by what other people think. You choose what dreams to chase. They have to be your dreams, and oftentimes we'll go after something thinking that it'll be fun, and then it turns out not to be. That happens, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with finding out that what you thought was going to be fun isn't, and so now we need to try something else. Don't be afraid to do that. While we're on that subject, and the subject of words being important and having power, there is a humongous difference between failing, giving up, and letting go. Failure is just part of the pathway to success, and we've talked about that and talked about that. We don't really need to cover it anymore. Hello, Tim. Yes, I'm old. Failing is just one of the stepping stones to success. That's how you get better at stuff. Now, then you have giving up and letting go. And, neither one of those necessarily has to be a negative, because, if you want to do something and you want to put that kind of effort into it, like we were saying, maybe it turns out to not be as fun as you thought it was going to be, and it's not worth the effort that you could be putting into something else that is enjoyable. And, that's letting go. And that's okay to change direction. Giving up, on the other hand, is something that I would recommend really that you try to avoid, because that is where you just allow yourself to get so beat down by the opinions of others and the words of others and the news and all of that other stuff that you just quit and literally give up. And to people who are on the outside, that may look like the same thing, giving up and letting go. But as long as you realize what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it, you're the one that has to chase, your own dreams. And that's important. You have to choose which dreams you chase. And, kind of as in that light, actually, I'd like to kind of go into a couple of positive news stories, because we watch CNN and we watch Twitter, and Twitter retweets CNN, and there's all of these news stories out there, but they're all about how bad things are. None of them are about how good things are. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump into a couple of positive news stories that I think that will they'll help you out. This is a satellite photo. That little piece sticking out there is a solar panel on the International Space Station, and my head is blocking this white spot right there. That white spot used to be a desert, and then an astronaut on board the ISS took that picture and seen that white spot, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And so they went into attempting to figure out what it was that we were looking at. And this came up. This is Almeria, Spain. And I'm not going to say that this is all rainbows. They've got some issues here, and if you do a Google search on what I'm fixing to let you in on, they've done some things wrong there. But they've also done some things right, and I think that we can learn from that, because what these are is reclaimed. They have basically reclaimed that desert, and what those are greenhouses, and they are farming an enormous amount of produce, of food. At the same time, the white plastic has lowered the temperature in the face of climate change and all of this other stuff that we hear about. They have lowered the temperature over the last several years, whereas the average temperature is increasing in other places. So there are solutions, and there are people doing some pretty amazing things in the other ends of the world. To talk a little bit more about possibly food, because we're going to get into when I bring the other guys back in, we're going to be talking about unity. And I tweeted out earlier something about imagine if 7 billion people could all get together and respect one another and not be fighting over crap that doesn't matter. What could we accomplish? And we're going to kind of be going into that a little bit. And this is one of those things, you know, if we do it right. We don't have to repeat the mistakes that are being made there, but we have an awful lot of desert, and there are some food shortages. We do have some climate change going on, even if we don't understand it. And this is something that could work. You won't hear about it. Another thing that could work, I have said a couple of times, and I will say it again later on in this, if we could unite today, all 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet could stop fighting over the little stuff, and we could, like Corin showed us, start focusing on our similarities rather than our differences, we could almost have everything that you see in Star Trek tomorrow. The technology is here for everything except replicators and transporters. To that end, there are several companies around the world. Right now, I think the one from Israel is closest to it, that are actually 3D printing steak. This is actually happening, and folks are doing this. It's unbelievable to me that we're doing this. This is made out of vegetable protein, and it is being done at, I think, about a quarter the cost of actually raising cows. And it also helps the environment. There are a lot of things that aren't being spoken about, and I'm going to go ahead and let you look at the final product. This is what the actual stuff looks like cooked. I haven't actually had a chance to taste it. I have had the Impossible Burger, not the same, but they are getting much, much closer than they ever have been. And there are people out there who have decided to be positive, team up with other positive people, and work on things like this, and they are making leaps and bounds of progress. It is actually happening. And this isn't the only thing. I don't have pictures of this because because a lot of this is still theoretical, but we have ion drive. We have it right now. In 2007, we launched a satellite a probe of some sort, off into the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, and it got there in 2015 and was using ion drive to get there. This is the stuff that we hear about in science fiction, and nobody's talking about it. I'm seeing this. Yeah, how did that come from a 3D printer? It's because people are starting to get it. They're starting to remember about being positive and uniting with other positive people. They are making a difference in spite of how terrible all the news outlets and everything are saying things are. But going back, there are two other things that have happened. One, a buddy of mine actually were experimenting with what was called the EM drive, where it's complete. There's no fuel used, there's no exhaust, and it still has the potential to be able to get from point A to point B in space. Well, what has come from that is actually what's called a centrifugal impulse drive. And now, to be fair, these are the thrust that is generated by these engines are measured in micronewtons. If you're not a science buff like me, a micronewton has the adorable nickname of mouse fart. So not a whole lot of thrust is being generated, but they're doing it without propellant and without exhaust. And this stuff is being developed. We are getting it. KZ Howell in the chat says, yes, they're 3D printing homes now. We had a place during when the masks got shorted out, or there was a shortage on masks. They were 3D printing those and delivering them to the hospital. This kind of thing is still happening. We just don't hear about it because everybody's too busy telling us about how terrible everything is. So there is reason to remain positive, and there is reason to unite and focus on the similarities, because the more people that we get together, the more different types of expertise are now in that group of people that's getting along, and the more things that can be developed. It is absolutely amazing. It is absolutely stunning, some of the things that are going on in the world. And you can Google any of those things. Are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. But they're getting there, okay? They get better every time. Is there failure involved? You betcha. I don't have any idea how many. I think the company that's doing the 3D meat has failed on zillions of times, but they get better and better every time. And now they are launching those things and testing them in restaurants to see if people can tell the difference. It is absolutely amazing. And the cost involved in some of this 3D printing stuff that they're doing and some of this science stuff is less than it's ever been. It's more ecologically friendly than it's ever been. We're finding ways to overcome the shortages. It's not nearly as bad as our media says it is. We knew that, being part of the Love America Tour family, because we watched as Corin went around and talked to people in a bunch of the areas where the news says everything is terrible, and nobody said everything is terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see if there's anybody. Yeah, there's people that have made the Impossible Burger, or they've tried it. I've attempted it, but I just wanted to kind of show you the tip of the iceberg. There's good news out there. There are people that are doing things that are absolutely amazing still. And I see the Love America Tour getting bigger, showing people how to come together and focus on similarities, and then celebrate the differences rather than, name calling or whatever. I think the turnaround is actually starting to happen, and people are getting tired of that. Bonnie, to be honest with you, Bonnie says, I couldn't stand the Impossible Burger. I wasn't a huge fan either. I can definitely tell a difference, but I was one of those unlucky enough to try meat substitutes further back in the past before the Impossible Burger, and I can tell you they are definitely getting better. So that being said, I wanted to kind of go through. Does anybody else, if you know of any other cool news stories, send them to me or mention them in chat. They are there, and we get inundated all the time with negativity and negative news. Filter that out. We talked about that last week. Filter the information that you take in. Sure, do we need to know that California is having a wildfire problem? You bet we need to know that. So there is a place for that kind of news, but there's good stuff happening too. And you got to balance it out a little bit and understand that the world's not coming to an end. We're not about to get hit by an asteroid. Everything is going to be fine. And a lot of times we can lose sight of that, and it leads to depression. A lot of this stuff, the imbalance between good news and bad news. There's people out there doing great things in the world. Samantha Shelton, absolutely. Our county in California have reopened. I seen that on Twitter earlier, that they're now able to go to restaurants again, and so positive things are happening regardless of what you hear on the news. It's not all terrible. Okay, it's absolutely not terrible, and we're gonna get there. Okay, so that went a little bit faster than what I thought it was gonna go, because I get really excited over this stuff that we're doing. I mean, you take the Impossible Burger, and then you take that they are 3D printing steaks that look like this. How far away are we really from Star Trek level technology? Cat Casey is letting us know that there is actually an asteroid coming, but the headline said it was only going to miss us by 4 million miles. I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it. So, and like I said, those steaks are made by vegetable proteins, and apparently are very hard to distinguish from the real thing. The place in Almeria, Spain, is producing so much food that they are supplying most of Europe, and odds are part of America as well. And these aren't just farms. You got to remember that used to be desert, like what you would think of, New Mexico and parts of California and Utah. We have no shortage of desert here. We have no shortage of desert on the planet. And so there are solutions, and there are people doing some fabulous, amazing, positive things. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and I got to remember where this goes. Usually about this time I have an intro that I can go to. But we're going to pop on those three. And I've got to move down to there. I actually had planned to play a Mose Jackson and the Split Image, I think is the name of it. Yeah, Split Image is the name of his band. I've got a video that they sent of them playing, and I'll try to get it in on the next one. I don't see Corin just yet, but we're gonna go ahead and bring on the other two as soon as they connect to audio. I think Bobby Benn is in. There goes. There comes 7. Okay, so let's go ahead and fade over while everybody's logging in.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you, but the video doesn't seem to be up. What's up, Bobby, Chad, Corin?
Hold on.
Hey.
So
I think Chad got to click the video connection.
Yeah, my video connection is not going to work.
Do you need to pop out and pop back in?
Yeah, give me a
I'm sorry?
What's happening, Bobby? What's happening, Husky? How you guys doing?
What's going on? How you feel?
Oh, dude, I'm tired today.
Dude, I feel you.
I'm ready for bed, and it's only not even 7:30.
Yeah, I've got 8:30 over here.
Looking good, brother. Be your own hero. I like it. That's what
There you
time
go.
is.
Hey, you gotta be on hero right now.
It's true. Isn't that the truth?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to get Chad back in here. So I have been talking about some of the positive things. I don't know if you were able to catch it, but they're 3D printing steak now. There's a place in Almeria, Spain that has found a way to not only slow down, but reverse some of the warming that's been happening over there, and at the same time have become one of the leading producers of produce in Europe. And indeed in the world. There's people out there that are remaining positive. They're focusing on their similarities instead of their differences, and they're making cool things happen. And what I'd like to do is maybe for a little bit, what do you think is possible if tomorrow all 8 billion people on the planet could just loved and respected one another like LatFam and bonded together and started doing things? What would our limits be at that point?
Oh, well, I mean, come on. There would be no limits. I mean, that's
Exactly.
I agree.
yeah. We set our own limits, and the more disconnection there is, the more disharmony there is. Then that
still no video.
the further away we get from being able to have that kind of unification and those kind of extraordinary outcomes.
Yep. I was actually saying a little earlier that I think if the entire planet was to stop fighting over the little bit of stuff that didn't matter, that we've been basically programmed and manipulated into fighting over by a party line, by by gender, by race, all of these reasons that we've been told to fight each other. If we could stop that, I think we could be at the Star Trek level of technology tomorrow. We have it on the planet, except for transporters and replicators. We have all of that technology right now if we could cooperate with each other.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. I mean, there's I completely agree with you. Bobby, go ahead, jump on that. I'm going to grab some water real quick. Give me 1 second.
You know, my thing is that, and I often said to people, is that one, we should be further than where we are right now, and we're not. But we have more of the love, hate, the bickering, the he said, she said, but no one can come together as one. But had we been this way, had we came together 20 years ago, we'd be all right.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I honestly would say this is that some people can say it takes one man to change a whole structure, but it starts with you. If you're that one man, you can make a change. And I think I said earlier today in one of my texts I sent out, I said, we can't unite unless we can fix ourselves. That's what it's going to take.
I 100% agree. Chad, your video works.
I know, man. I don't know how that happened. Magic.
Tech magic. So what are your thoughts? I know that you kind of are headed to focus on, but I know that your past, you've done a lot of scientific research and kind of into theories and what's possible and what's out there. If we could actually start getting along with each other like the Lat Fam has shown is possible, what do you think is possible? Where do you think we'd be? Like if Bobby was saying, if we could have done that 10 years ago.
We wouldn't be as divided as we are right now. We'd be so far past that. It would be more about, like Martin Luther King said, content of the character compared to perspectives.
Yep.
That's what I say. That's what I would say. That's unity. I would say that's one of the best examples of unity. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and
I agree.
One of the problems that I think that we have is that, and I'm just going to say that the powers that be, the power elite, you can call them whatever you want. You can even call them the Illuminati if you're into that kind of thing. But you know, we have been so inundated with, by political party, like I was saying, there's all these different lines that we divide ourselves up by. And it's a tenet of human behavior that in order for there to be an us, there has to be a them. And I look forward to the day when the us becomes humans, and then even further when it becomes sentient beings. I can't wait for us to get to that point.
What?
Yeah, I just look at it as us and them is the human race against roaches. Damn it.
I'd take it.
Mosquitoes too. It's like us versus
Damn
them.
it. Those are the them.
Definitely mosquitoes.
Real quick, Petunia is saying, hey, y'all, my kids, Savannah and Charlotte, are saying hi, and you know how we like to shout out kids. So Savannah and Charlotte going before bed, they're kind of checking in.
Hey, everybody.
Charlotte.
We've got people still. I'm waiting for the questions and such to come in, but there actually a lot of folks. It's just common kindness is all it takes. And like I said, Corin, you really showed us the way just by those first 800 or so interviews that you did in the 3 weeks.
800. That's right.
But it does. It starts with what's your name, where are you from, what was that like? Okay, I can identify with that, and we've lost that.
We've lost that. I honestly believe that we lost that so long ago. You know what? I'll say it like this. Let me rephrase it. It's not the ideal of you and I can't get together. It's the middle person that says something and makes that other person thinks, yeah, you're right. Makes the other person say, no, you're wrong. And then that breaks all that up because we couldn't get it back. It was so hard. And I think with this presidential moment that we had 4 years ago, it really spread us so far apart. And now, and I said, we have opportunity right now to fix this and to help bring us back together. Now, we're not going to be all the way together, but we're going to be close. And that closeness can get us so far together where we need to. But it starts with you. I mean, and that you're the change that can make the change for us all to unite.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I think that's important for people to unite and not just in America, but all over the globe. I mean, we've really, why aren't we done fighting with each other? Seriously.
I'm exhausted.
It's exhausting, trust me.
It is.
Politically, like whenever you're constantly having to defend a narrative or a political point of view outside of fact, even some of it being fiction, it's exhausting.
I'm not going to get into which political party should win or anything like that. I'm just not going to get into that. But I will say that we've got to stop with it, because what's really hurting us is team player politics. I would love to see CNN and these news come out with the idea. They don't say anything about the names. They just say this senator put forward this bill that would do this, and they don't say who said it, and they let people think about the idea rather than which party came up with the idea.
Well, then they just change the channel to the person who tells them.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Right.
But you see what I'm saying though? Is we've gotten so into who said this and whose side am I on that we've stopped looking at the actual ideal.
Mm-hmm.
We've stopped looking at the proposed solution or even the problem to come up with a solution. It's all about laying blame and being my side is right, and nobody looks at it. It's almost like nobody looks at problems with a solution in mind to solve them anymore.
No,
I couldn't agree more with that statement. I mean, I mean, I see it also. Depending on, like you said, this whole kind of division, this party line division. It's like it doesn't matter who comes up with a great idea anymore if it doesn't come from the right mouth of the right person or the right party or the right whatever. Then another whole half of the people are suddenly just outraged by it, or the other half is outraged, or whatever the case may be. It's like nobody gets to look at what is the face value of the idea. That's why you're saying like let it be more of an anonymous type of thing. But it is strange that the party lines are struck so hard right now that there really is no there's not many people who are willing to take their hat off. You know what I'm saying? To take their colored hat off and just deal with what the actual facts are. Like Chad was saying, facts become secondary now to narrative these days. And even, I mean, not because we're not obviously going to get political or anything like that, but even in conversations that I have had in the past where you're dealing with something that's actually based in fact, and you still have to argue the point. You know what I mean? You're like, but this is
well.
Here's the facts. I'm serving them to you. I'm going to serve you facts, and they're like, no soup.
And while we are fighting over whether my guys said the right idea or your guys said the right idea, nobody's focused on how to make the idea better.
Right.
Because I mean, how often have you come up with an idea that got better when you bounced it off your buddy?
Almost every time.
Yeah, pretty much every, like 99.9%.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, yeah, because every time you have an idea, like you got the whole solution, you got the whole problem already in your head figured out. As soon as you pitch it to someone says, well, we can do that, but if we do this, then the next person gets in like, but if we do that, then now you have your whole 100% is now 75%. But it's all about, do you take it back and say, no, I want to keep it where it is. But if you don't listen to the ideas, trust me, your thing may flop. It's like a movie. Anyone can see a great movie. The part one of the movie did billions of dollars, but then you do a part two, but not with the same director or the same person who did it. It flops so hard. But why? Because you didn't have that same unity that you had in the first one.
Yeah, I agree.
I can actually.
Good analogy.
We got an
That's a good
interesting
one.
thing talking about ideas, and Julie Walker would like to know. So this is for Corin. Have you taken the time to sit back and looked at what you've started and caught yourself smiling and just happy? Because this is such a great thing. This is the Love America tour and what it's becoming.
To be honest, I really haven't had time to, because the way that that life unfolded over these last number of months, it's just put me into a situation that's not s- that's not s- it's not the optimum situation to be in on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And I'm in a great place and with some great people and all of that. But when for me personally, that the losses that I've taken in the last 3-4 months especially, they've just been devastating. So it's been even though I've been hanging on here and keeping up as much as possible. To be honest, it's I'm still pretty worn out by it all. I haven't even had a chance to really sit back and relax and look at anything, much less what the cause and effect of what it is that we've been doing has been. And then it'll all come full circle. But I just have to one day at a time just get through this current dilemma and get up out of this situation and then back into a much more balanced and predictable living scenario.
I can I can agree. And Bonnie Bell says something, and this goes for all three of you because I know like Chad got sick and that's no fun, and you've got everybody's got some.
We all have been sick.
Yeah, but uh, she says get on Twitter when you can and interact with the Lat Fam. We'll bring you up. We will, and you can call me anytime. You've got my number.
Oh yeah.
It has been an amazing experience to watch the Lat family not only get together and be positive back when it was like 10 or 12 people, and now there's a gazillion people that are starting to get in on this Lat fam thing, and they're starting to try the positive, and they're starting to be uplifting even to people that don't agree with them politically, for instance, or whatever it is that you have in your mind, that there's differences of opinion. People are being uplifting now in
Good.
spite of that.
Right.
Good.
And
That's amazing. That's exactly that's what this is all about.
That's what it's all about.
I always tell people, no matter how our day go, if I'm on Twitter and I'll see Corin's having a bad day, I lift him up,
mm-hmm.
and I'll use an experience that happened to me to say it's going to be okay, because if I went through it, you're going to go through it and it's going to get better. So, and I always tell anybody, I said, no matter what your life been, there's always the other person who's been there. He's going to show you how he went through it, so you can go through it and you can say this experience taught you something. And I think that's what we tend to forget when it comes down to togetherness. We forget, we fall short along that way. And then when that person sees you 10 years later, oh, they tell you all the good stuff. They don't know you was homeless. They don't know that you slept in a truck. They don't know that because you're not going to tell them. But you're just listening to them like, really? Wow. But then as soon as you tell the story later on, you tell the story, you're sitting on Jay Leno's couch or Jimmy Fallon's couch. You're sitting on the couch and you tell the story.
They're sitting or sleeping.
Yeah.
Exactly. But people don't realize your story until you tell it after you came out of it. But again, we have to be able to be there for one another. I say it all the time. I got your back. I got all you guys back.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I can't agree more. I absolutely can't agree more. And like I said, I'm watching this, and I have the opportunity that you guys don't have. Okay, I really do, because you guys are working on like the paranormal thing for Chad, and Bobby's got a project, and Corin, you're working on post-production and a bunch of other things. I have the opportunity to sit here and watch the Love America Tour family all day, and I get to watch them grow, and I get to watch them. I actually got a call. I'm not gonna tell you who it was, But I got a call from somebody who got it. It just clicked. The positivity, it clicked, and it changed them. And they were so excited. I had to slow them down a little bit to make out what they were saying. And and I get that in direct messages or private messages or whatever the heck it is that Twitter calls them. It's happening all the time. People are seeing it and they're experiencing it, and they're in with another group of people that are also seeing and experiencing it. And it is absolutely amazing. And I wish you guys could see it the way I see it.
Yeah, I can. Go ahead, Bobby.
I said I see it a lot because I tell people. I remember when the Love America tour started. We had Twitter Wars people. Now we've grown a bigger family with Love America. Now you merge both of them together, and these are people lives that we changed over the course of making fun of each other, of jokes. And then you took something positive. You took something positive with the Love America tour, and you put this circle together. Now imagine what more we can do by doing what we're doing now. Just talking. People get so much more happier because they'll say, "Damn, that was me," but I was afraid to say it. But these guys are saying it for me.
There you go. That's a good point. A real
Cool.
good point. I want to talk to Bobby about this place in Virginia.
Yo, dude, I'm telling you, listen. I can't wait. You and I gotta go there. You gotta read it. You gotta see the stories. It's so true that then I will watch it on YouTube and see all these other little stories about it. Dude, it's super haunted. We gotta go down there.
All right. I'm down. I'm totally down. I was catching up on it a little bit. I think it was this past weekend. I don't remember. My days are all messed up. But yeah, it seemed pretty awesome.
Right. It intrigued you. It made you say, damn it, okay. The
Yeah,
story
it's like,
alone is good.
Yeah, no, it's like, yes.
I keep saying it'll make a great movie that no one made yet.
Yeah, I think so.
There's some newer folks in the chat that haven't really been following because I know what you guys are talking about. You've talked about it on previous live streams and stuff. Why don't you go ahead and let the folks know? Marcia Lewis is saying, what's in Virginia? Bonnie actually lives in Virginia, and Samantha Sheldon has said she's headed to Virginia to see Bonnie soon. So what's up with what place? What are we talking about?
Bobby, take it away on the place. You got more info than I do.
I was gonna let you do it. All right. So back in the day, it was a railroad. They were building stuff years ago, and they didn't have the structure like they had now. So they're building this new railroad line so people can go where they had to go. Well, one day the tunnel collapsed, and it's called the Churchill Tunnel. The tunnel collapsed, killing 4 people. The train is still down there. Yep. The conductor's body and everything is still down there. I think there was one person that came out. There was so many myths on it. Like it was a vampire there was a monster or whatever down there. But it was because the boiler had split open. All this man's skin and everything came off, and that's what they seen. They say he went to this church and died at the cemetery. But it's such a true story that every time they would try to get these bodies, the tunnels will collapse more. Now the best part about it is, for all of you guys who are paranormal, they say that you can still hear people screaming.
Yep. And
people who live near the station, people still live near the in that area. They said the playground was haunted. They built the playground over top of it.
Yeah, that was the crazy part. That's why I was like, what?
Yeah, I said, who puts a playground over top of a tomb?
It's freaking nuts.
Yo, and that's why I said, someone told me about it. This young lady told me, Lindsay, I know you're watching, Lindsay. She told me about it, and we were going to actually do something on it, but it just didn't fall in right. So I said, you know what? This will work perfect with Chad, because this thing right here, you'll go to this place, and I'm telling you, you're gonna feel it. It's gonna turn your hair white. I'm telling you. I read the book, and it did that to me.
Well, I got to tell you now that Marcia, Bonnie, and Samantha, and a couple other folks are talking about now having a mini convention up there in Virginia when y'all go.
Oh, listen,
Corin, did you hear that, Corin?
No, what was it?
They said there's a couple of folks, like Bonnie lives in Virginia. Samantha's going to visit Bonnie at some point, and then Marcia Lewis, I believe, also lives in Virginia, and they're talking about having this mini convention when they go up there, Bobby and Chad, to do this thing.
I'm gonna tell you, I think the difference is is we all see little paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
In Philly, we got tons of it. In Old City, Philadelphia, we got tons of it. But nothing's like the Churchill Tunnel. Nothing.
Now that was that playground is really kind of what sold me. I was like,
It's eerie.
playground? That's like
It's
what?
in. Like it was sinking in. And you're gonna tell me you're gonna let your kids slide on the slide? I'm sorry. How many movies have we seen just waiting for the spirit to come out and
Yeah.
hit your kids?
Look, yeah, old playgrounds are just creepy in general. I don't know what it is
Yeah.
about them, but
I think it's tetanus.
Oh yeah, no. Who bit you again? That wasn't me. It was the dog. Okay, playground.
Katso,
No, I'm sorry.
Katso's giving Corin trouble about touching the screen.
well, I keep getting messages coming in, and I'm
It's like,
I'm like, I am trying to do a live stream. Leave me alone. It looked like Katso when Katso's on the typewriter.
yeah, exactly. Good one. And it's like,
Yeah,
at least we
Katso.
couldn't hear it. At least you know how when you're texting and you're talking to somebody, they're like, "What's that noise?" It's like
Katso's been busy.
Are you texting? No, I'm not texting. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are right. I hear the tapping. Was that I love you tap? No, it wasn't.
That's the other
No.
thing I got to do. I got to get a keyboard that doesn't click when I type, because now that I'm live streaming, the mic picks it up when I'm trying to type something in the chat or some kind of thing, like a link.
That's a stenographer's keyboard, man. Those things are
Mm.
quiet.
They'll get you every time you try to do something silently. And next thing, it's like AOL. It's like back in the day, you couldn't get online because AOL was so loud. No matter how you turned your computer down, it was just loud.
Yeah, well, the modem was like.
Yeah, exactly. I got in trouble so many times.
Okay,
Born again, not.
there's
No,
a lot
no.
A lot of folks in chat are talking about a lot of haunted places that are in different places, Oklahoma, and Virginia, and some other places. Guys, Treasonous DJ on Twitter, DM Paranormal Chad with those places, right, Chad?
That is correct. Yes, send me those places, please.
Because he can't see the chat. We haven't quite figured that one out yet. Although I think I may have that one on the run. But definitely, and that's the other thing too is don't be afraid to DM these guys. They're open. They love it. They respond.
Well, my DMs are absolutely crazy. I can't always get to them, because I get a lot of ridiculous DMs as well as like ones that are quite nice and all that. But I don't actually check mine as often. So I just want to give people a heads up. I do check them, but if you don't see me responding to them, it just means I either haven't had a chance to check it yet, or it's gotten so far down on the feed of all the DMs, I haven't had a chance to scroll through and look through everything and find out what's what and get around to it, So
I took
don't
like
get
a
too
week.
upset if you don't hear back from me on DM. I used to just not answer DMs. Period. That was as a matter of principle, because as a celebrity, it's important to protect yourself from any type of any type of communication that could be misconstrued. So generally speaking, I mostly don't answer DMs strictly for that reason, especially because a lot of people tend to ask me very personal questions on there, which I find strange. Because most of all, it's really not your business. But on top of that, I do appreciate it. But
That reminds I got to ask the two of you and Chad, you as well, if you've got any, because it actually kind of all of us have sort of become little mini celebrities just being on the live stream so often. But have you noticed how often it is, like if you act a certain role that's very popular, like Jonas Quinn, for instance, that people actually can't see Corin Nemec? All they can see is the Jonas Quinn, and they expect you to act like that, or your character that you played in this movie.
I personally haven't. I don't think that's much the case for me, because I never had to. I've never had to play one character even though I would love to have played one character for 8, 10 seasons on a show, that would be amazing, and hopefully that will still happen in the future. Let's look towards that as an outcome. But I think the diversity of the roles that I've done, um, has made that not so much of a factor. But uh, for me anyway, I don't really get that too often when I'm interacting with folks.
I get it.
Oh,
It's not cool. Listen, I got it. I did this movie. It's on Amazon Prime called Delayed Gratification. So season one, I was mediocre. Season two, I was a bad guy. So one day, my DM blew up. They keep saying, "Damn, dude, I thought you was really cool. You're a horrible bad guy." I'm like, I'm really not. I'm like, it's not even like
it's not like that. Stop.
right. I'm like, no. And then they kept saying, "You're like real ruthless." And then I've gotten the ones where they say, "You look like Biggie," or "You look like Cool Mo D," or I would hear all this stuff.
Oh, D, I
I'm
don't
like,
really see the Biggie as much, but I can
yo,
see
dude, listen,
sunglasses on.
listen,
There you go.
exactly. Every time I go out anywhere, I hear it all the time. They say, "Yo, dude, you and Cool Mo D, are you the same person?" I'm like, what? And then they fucking rhyme. I'm like, I hate y'all so much. But it's like when I was in New York, I was on Good Morning America one morning. I'm outside about to go in. The security guy said, "Yo, Cool Mo D, what's up? You on today?" Like, shut up, man. Like, it's not even like that. And then people will put up a comparison picture. I had to go around put up a comparison picture like that's not me. And people's like, no, dude, you got the same nose and everything. I'm like, okay,
Not to change the subject, but just really briefly, Rose from the UK, and I've mentioned this before. She's got difficulty seeing. She's saying, "I can only talk on the Instagram page. Would love to know when you're on the move and where you're going." Chad, I think are you running the Instagram page for Love America Tour?
No. That would be mostly Ben and Kat, I believe.
Okay, you know me. I'm Instagram retarded. Can you tell people where to find it?
It's Love America at Love America Tour 2020.
It either has a 2020 on the back end or it doesn't. But either way, you'll be able to find
I'm gonna double check right now. How about that?
Okay.
yeah. I was showing one of my producers, Love America Tour. I said, just go on YouTube, dude. He pulls it up. It goes, it's endless. It just keeps going.
it.
And he said, "All right, well, who's Corin Nemec?" I said, "Keep going." And then he
Yeah.
pulls up, he's watching an hour's worth of stuff. He says, "I know that dude." I said, "And then go IMDb him." And he says, "Dude, he has 102 credits." I'm like, yeah. I said, "Stop, it's making me mad." But it was so cool because again, he went there to YouTube. Now he follows us through that.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
But yeah, that's at Love America Tour 2020 is where you'll find that Instagram.
Cool.
Okie doke. Also, Ming and Lou have joined us in the chat.
What's up? I gave me a call
up,
the other
guys?
day. Catch up with her. It was good.
Hey.
Good to talk to her. I'm gonna pop by for a visit next few days or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have the same plans. Lou, if you know any paranormal spots, which I know you do, gotta tell me.
You know Lou does. I'm sure he does.
I know he does.
Samantha's letting me know that Joe and Whitney are apparently new to the live stream and wanted me to shout them out. So we got
Hey Joe, hey Whitney.
we got some new folks. I will tell you guys this too. Since we started getting into kind of a regular pattern and a regular broadcast time, our numbers are going up. The Lat Fam is growing. People are coming in, and they are. I've actually watched people come in and get more positive just in general and become uplifting and kind of back away a little bit from I guess something about Twitter and something about the world that we live in has people just kind of as a knee-jerk reaction ready to, well, you're just a big dumbhead, and that's like the response. And I've seen
big
people
dumbhead.
Yeah, I've seen people come away from that and start being more uplifting and get bigger and bigger, and watching the thing grow is just amazing to me.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think you're correct. There's especially on social media, because you don't have a real personal connection there unless you know the person personally.
Right.
And I think that people forget that there's a human being on the other side of all of this communication that's going on. And when one person is, is just overtly rude or crass or just cuts you down, it's a knee-jerk reaction, a fight or flight reaction to strike back.
Mhm.
And then I think that what can happen is you end up with a domino effect of like, now it's like, are people really, because it's just like how you get a text sometimes and you're like, is this a rude text, or is this funny, or is this sarcastic, or what does this mean actually, because you can't get the context
Exactly.
behind it. So I think that it's easy to suddenly fall into a place like that where lashing out is the first reaction, instead of taking a seat back and looking at it and going, is this even worth reacting to? Number one. And number two,
Yep.
how can I react in such a way that will douse the flames of this, instead of adding fuel to the fire, so to speak.
And
Absolutely.
sometimes it doesn't matter what you say.
Sometimes it doesn't matter. You got to
Yeah,
ignore it.
that's very rare. But for the most part, it's just be positive and be nice. I mean, that's
Well,
what
and-
I've learned. That's what I learned.
I got a block button. I mean, I'll read it if I and I'll give you a chance. I'll read it, then I'll go back and read other posts, and I'll wait. But then if I start really feeling the negativity, I hit the block button, because instead of me answering the question or whatever, if I know it's really, really negative, you know what? I'm just gonna block it and forget that just happened.
And Michelle Arwood was echoing what you were saying earlier, Corin. It's actually right as you were saying it. She says, unfortunately, it's easier to be mean when you aren't face to face, but we can be positive in the same way and offset it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, that anonymity behind that handle or screen name or whatever it is, it actually doesn't go that far. Just so people know.
Right.
Corin knows what I used to do. I can find you who you
somebody
are.
wants to find out who you are.
Be careful, man. People will. They will. I'm gonna tell you, I had a bad experience. I almost got hacked because I was rude to somebody one time, and luckily, my stuff was set up to where it alerted me, and I was like, "Nope." Learned my lesson.
Well, I got to tell you, one of the first things that I did during this live stream that was kind of cool was I showed a tweet and popped it up on the background that somebody had said that was rude, and it was directed at Corin. And immediately I saw it, and I didn't block, but I didn't respond to it because I wasn't sure how. And then I put tweet after tweet after tweet on top of it of all of the Lat fam that had come back with, really positive stuff. It's like, look, we understand that you're having a rough day. Why don't you join us? We'll help you. We'll lift you up. I don't know if that person ever did, but what a response, and what a thing to see on Twitter of all places.
Oh yeah. But we see Twitter.
Go ahead, Bobby. What was that?
We see everything on Twitter. So it doesn't shock me anymore. But it makes me go back. I'll go back a day or two later after the person may have said something, if I didn't block you, and I say, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? How you feel? And I'll take the initiative, and then I'll start hearing them talk, and I'm starting to realize, like, all right, you just had a bad moment. You're just not that bad guy.
That's right. That's like 90% of people. Thank God.
Right.
They got it that way.
We got a Miss Gigglebox on YouTube that says, hey guys, can I get a shout out for my birthday, the big 4-6 today? I'm old, and I got to tell you, 3 out of 4 of us, I think, are older than you, but happy birthday.
You're not,
happy birthday. That's awesome.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
listen,
I
I'm
know a couple that can't.
Right, I'm 47, so listen, we're all kicking 50 somewhere down the line. But so you're not old, sweetie. You're probably the youngest person to yourself and to everyone else. Don't you ever think that you're old at all.
Amen. Yeah.
Man.
I can remember my father when he turned 40, and this is the kind of man I was raised by, so this might give you a little insight into who I am. When he was 40, I told him, at least you don't have to worry about dying young anymore. Okay? Now he sat on that for 23 years until I turned 40. And guess what was inside of my birthday card for my 40th birthday?
Oh, yeah. Good one.
Yep.
Good one, Husky. Good job.
I love
And
that.
now, I can't even remember. I'm 47 or 48. I always have to put it in a calculator because I can't remember. But I feel younger than I have in a long time, even with all of the
Oh,
stuff that,
yeah.
I remember being 20 and looking at late 40s going, wow, your life is over. What do you even buy? Life's just getting started. Life's just getting good.
Yeah,
Right.
I said the same thing. I said when I turned 40, I'm like, this is horrible. For my 40th birthday, I had allergies. I said, who the hell gives me allergies for a birthday present? And I said, gee, thanks a lot, God. Thanks a lot. But as I got older and I looked at myself, I felt more younger at 47 or in my later 40s than ever before. I have more energy. I look at life so differently. Like, okay, 50's coming. That's our new start over. That's our what are we going to do next moment.
There
Mm-hmm.
we go.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
I got it.
I got myself. I know Katso will be happy about this though, because maybe it's karmic retribution, but I have mild allergies to cats, meaning I don't have an immediate allergic reaction to them. It'll take me being around them for about a week or so, and if I'm constantly around them for about that amount of time, it just all goes and like the nasal, the lung, everything starts acting up, and and where I'm staying, there's two cats, so. And for whatever reason, one of them, one of them likes to lie right where right above my feet, and one of them likes to lie right next to my head. And I'm like,
Oh,
and the one that lies next to my head, it just stares at me. So I'll be laying there and I'll look over at it, and just like big old eyeball staring right at me, like, I got you, don't I? I got you.
Are
Like
you sure you can't
pull
see?
around, doing a little bit of this, scratch some of those,
oh my
scratch some
God.
dander on me.
Are you
So
sure
don't
you can't
worry,
see the chat?
Oh my God.
I'm getting all the karmic all the karma back, all the cat karma back that is out there for me to have. All right.
I was going to say, are you sure you can't see the chat? Because Katso, right when the second you started telling everybody about that, and which means he sent it a little bit earlier, said Corky aged 30 years the day he met Katso.
Ooh.
Well, that's why I'm constantly having to wipe my nose now. The last couple of times we've been doing these, because there's no stopping it now.
No,
I just
there's
have to
not.
live with it.
There's not. There's
Listen,
three here. There's three
right.
cats here. I have the
There's
same
three
allergy.
cats where he is. Yeah,
Listen,
That's why
I'm a
I'm sitting
cat
there
guy.
like, oh.
it's rough.
I'm a cat guy. So there's two cats who just learned to love me. And then I'm sitting here saying, let me see, allergies. Will the cat bother me? Nah, I'm fine. As soon as I leave, I start thinking like, darn it, maybe it is the cats.
I know.
Yeah.
But
I
I
was.
think it's both.
I was so. That's Corin. I was so stopped up yesterday. I got to work and I was like, bro. I was like, I feel so much better.
Yeah. I got to get out of the house every single day for an extended period now. Otherwise, it's gonna be no bueno for me.
Mm.
But I mean, I love animals, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got to tell you that I'm seeing some things. Samantha Sheldon's real friendships can bloom from people on social media. It's how the Lat Fam is growing. She actually met Bonnie on Twitter, and now they are best friends in real life. They visited each other. They meet up all the time, and
Cool.
and a lot of this, the Lat family, it's a recurring topic. They want a chance to get together and meet somewhere.
Right.
There needs to be. I'm also thinking about that along, down the road a little ways so long as we can successfully launch a round two, and even if God forbid something happens that gets in the way of that, I still think that we can do these more convention style
Yeah.
get-togethers. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Even if we got to fly in to a place and
I'm
we do
cool
it
with that,
far
yeah.
ahead of time, and we arrange it, and we have a conference room, and we have a
Yeah.
cocktail party after, or whatever the deal is, and everybody just comes in for what? To hang out and get to know each other and talk to each
Right.
other in person, have a
Yeah.
laugh, have some kind discourse with one another,
Mhm.
and get to
Take
know
pictures.
people in
Yeah.
person. And I think that alone would be would be huge. I think that alone would be a really potentially a big deal, and wouldn't be too difficult to schedule and get our heads around. But it'd be far easier to schedule that than obviously the driving part of it. But I've really in the last week, I definitely have been getting the itch, really to get back and start having these interviews again, and getting back to what this was all about, was getting to know people's story. And I want to say it's an American story because we're Americans here, and that's who we're interviewing at this point. Although some of the people we've interviewed were transplanted from other places here to America, but now consider themselves American, just like somebody who would move, from Chicago to LA after a few years would consider themselves, from LA.
Yeah.
Maybe not someone from Chicago, but
I don't know. That's a toughie.
But that said, you know what my point is. I mean, it's just the idea of us getting to the basics of what the story is, what everybody's arc is, what the character arc is. I go back to, in the studying acting, every character has an arc, every character has a backstory, and it's what you load into that backstory that's never seen or heard on the screen, that gives you a really three-dimensional, well-rounded character. And then the arc that you give that character from the beginning and the middle and the end of the script, even if it's not written in there, you can find that arc. I mean, this Lifetime movie I just did, there was not a lot happening on the page, with the characters out, with the character that I was playing. And, but the character had been through some hard times, and it made sense to me to make him, more discombobulated, disheveled, not having all of his stuff together, like he used to, and really trying to, to stay on top of his game when he's not thinking as clearly, because he had lost his wife and became an only father and had to raise his daughter on his own, and is now in a new environment and trying to start things over. So, but it's that kind of thinking that suddenly develops a lot more character on the screen. And it's in these interviews that I realize that there is so much more character, to people, based on what their arc is to their story, and what their backstory is to their character, and it's really, really humbling to listen to what people have had to go through to still be here today with a smile on their face, and with an uplifting spirit, and with a good attitude towards life. Because some of the stories, some people went through some things that I don't know if I would have been able to recover from as successfully as they did. I can tell you that.
Good point.
I got to tell you right quick, KZ Howell has translated for Constance again, who is in France, doesn't speak English. Bonjour, Constance. I think that's right. She says,
KZ Howell.
Yeah, she says she's happy that you all are doing well.
Thank you.
And then Samantha M said we need the LAT convention for sure. And Joe Williamson came in right after that, just by 4 seconds, and said LAT family reunion. And that's actually people are saying that's actually the cool and definitely what we were thinking is the LAT family reunion. We can't call it a convention anymore.
There we go.
Right. Well, y'all remember how Star Trek convention started? They start with a little small thing. People was talking about it.
Yeah.
And then they went to this one convention. William Shatner said, whatever. And Leonard Nimoy was like, whatever. And as soon as they get there, as soon as they get off the plane, they says all these people here. And then it started because it's someone's idea to, you should have a convention. I think Love America Tour has enough people, more enough around the world to have a great convention, have several conventions.
There's actually
for a convention though, just to get together and hang out and get to know each other and have a good time, and
Well, yeah, exactly. That's all.
Love it.
They've all but started to organize this thing in the chat already. They're talking about it. Like, where can we do it? Let's put it together. Why not?
Anywhere but Vegas.
Yeah, not Vegas.
Not Vegas. So yeah, and Joe Williamson actually is who we have on Saturday. So we'll be doing a follow-up interview with him, and he'll be with us this weekend. and then we all get a week off, unless you guys decide to do something with on your own or with somebody else. We get a week off after that, and we'll be back on the 23rd with. I don't have it. That's on the next page.
That's all right.
It's okay.
I got a project I need to talk to you guys with. I already talked to Husky about that. I think will be so great, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about it. And it's one of the things how I come from comedy, drama, and everything, and I came up with this idea. I said, because you can't all be in one room. I said, we'll do the Zoom thing. And then someone said, I don't think it's gonna work. And then Husky said, if we do it this way, I said, that's a great idea. All right, we're gonna do it. And I said, I got a part for everybody. And I mean everybody.
What?
Yeah, I don't remember saying that, but
it's when we talked about our little thing. You say, we could just do a Zoom thing. I said, yeah, we could do the Zoom thing. Because I was
I'll
thinking,
be right back, guys. Hold on one second. I'll be right back.
So I came up with this idea, and I said, this would be a perfect thing. And that's when Husky said, if we was it you, Husky? I think it was you, Husky. I said we can do it all Zoom. We do some different backgrounds or whatever. I said that would be a great idea.
oh yeah.
So I think that because we're all in the virtual age, which we should have been in the virtual age, but now we're forced into a virtual age where everything is all Zoomed.
It is
everything.
all of it.
Hey, listen, I look at kids who go to school with the computers, and they're like, "Do I have homework now because I'm already home in school? Like, how does that work?" I'm like, "Listen, just don't wrap your mind somewhere else. Don't do that." It's hard.
It's like video killed the radio star, but it's like Zoom killed the conference call.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I bet Zoom profits are skyrocket right now.
I know Microsoft's stock went up a couple of months ago.
Yeah, exactly. So
Now,
I can imagine.
With the live streaming and with Zoom and with Skype and stuff like that, if we have green screens, there's a bunch of stuff that we can do. I wasn't going to bring the idea up, Bobby. I do remember talking to you about it. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. And I don't know how much you want to say about it right now, but I do.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I actually did do that with Manu Interreme one time. He had a green screen. He was in LA. I had a green screen. I was in Missouri, and we did it so that we looked like we were in the same room. And it had there was a background of a obviously sci-fi, almost animated observation deck with moving water in the background. So it actually looked like we were really in there, and so it is possible. There are some people going, who's everybody do we get to play in the chat, some of them.
Well, see, that was the most amazing thing. I'm happy we are talking about it because everyone who's a part of the Love America Tour, every fan, you get to be a part of this. And that's why I thought to bring this all together. You all get a part. And it's going to be so amazing that you helped create this.
On that note, even though I missed a lot of it, on that note, I think that some of the feedback that I've gotten from those individuals who've signed the waivers, and then getting their name posted onto IMDb with an IMDb credit, I've had a few people think like that's just the coolest stuff in the world. They're like, that's so cool, man! I got an IMDb credit. I'm not even an actor. They're like, whatever. They're like, I'm on IMDb now too, And I think that's actually, that's
awesome.
You know what I
mean? That is awesome. It's completely
really
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's really, really cool, and I'm glad that we're able to even provide that kind of a small little uptick in variety.
That's a lot of love.
Big love. Was it like this? You do it like that? It's not a heart. There we go.
I have a hard time getting that heart right too.
I'm not Taylor Swift.
Mine looks more like a plate of cookies.
Mine look like Diamond Dallas Page.
Okay.
Oh man.
Right now, I got to let you guys know it's 8:15. I forgot to let you know about the 8 o'clock, but we are having a good time. I'm interested to see what you have in mind, Bobby, because I only have kind of a little bit of the premise, and I'm not going to let any of that out. It's your thing. I'm going to let you let it all out whenever it is that you're ready. But I am excited to see it come together, whatever it is that you have in mind, because I can see that look in your eye.
Yo, I've got this thing, so I got it written on every piece of paper I found. I wrote stuff down, it's in my phone, and I got so many ideas, and I kept saying, now I'm gonna bridge my idea within all of us, and we're all gonna have different parts in it. But I said, we just gotta bring it so much bigger because I want everyone to be a part of it who's been a part of this. And that's why I think it would have been really good. And that goes back to unity. Make everyone a part of something.
Yep.
Because again, just like the IMDb credit, they'll feel like I was a part of this whole thing. It was so cool. Like, I want y'all to feel that way.
Yeah, me
Yes,
too.
sir.
It's almost like when I did the Skittles commercial, and I kept getting all these people like, listen, and I had to sell them on. I know who Corin Nemec is. I said, what? And I sat everyone down in one room, made them find out who you are. They like, dude, I'm in. So it was.
Real quick, I'm looking at the chat. Lou, DM me. I'll get you the link to the waiver. Because he's saying that he didn't get his IMDb credit because he forgot to sign the waiver, and so Lou, just DM me. I know you've done it before. You know where I'm at. I've got the link. Just shoot me a DM and I'll get you the waiver link. Right? It's pretty easy there. A lot of folks are.
Who needs an IMDb credit? Dang it!
A lot of folks are asking you about a haircut, Corin.
You know, my normal barber was, shut down for so long. I'm not sure if he ever actually was able to reopen for business once they allowed him to start cutting hair again. He was a very small one-man barber shop. Had been around for ages in Spring, Texas, and then once we got on the road, there was no cutting of the hair at that point. And then once I got back from the road, I was just kind of like,
like, whatever.
Well, now they mentioned that on Twitter earlier, and I was asking them if they were talking about me, and I said, because I was supposed to be growing my hair out for this circuit thing, this other thing. And now it's kind of growing on me, if you'll pardon the pun. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I ought to just go full dwarf, like Lord of the Rings dwarf, just grow every.
You totally should, bro. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll go full elf. You go full dwarf.
You got to get the beard in there, Husky. You got to get that big mustache.
Well, I can, but I've been doing stubble for a little bit because that's the way the poll came back.
Yeah, get the beads in there and leather. Get that leather over here.
The Dorenzo family wants to know if IMDb credit qualifies you for SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah. You get a whole lot of credit if you be SAG-AFTRA. Working at it.
Yep.
Oh, some folks are telling me I should cut my hair, and some people think your hair looks fine. And that's the thing. You kind of got to just be you, don't you?
Look, I'm over my own hair myself. No one's, you're preaching to the choir here when you're talking about haircuts. I just, I'm one of those people. It's like I'm because my hair is so. Me and Chad were having this conversation. We don't really have many looks because our hair is so flat. You know what I'm saying? That like if you try to do a regular haircut style, you got to have all kinds of product and mousse and different things to give it life. To really that up,
I had to buy special shampoo, get mousse, get sculpting.
Yeah, so it's like either I have to go like straight military cut or what you're looking at now. So it's
okay.
It's like if I put my head in a pan of water after I were to do my hair, if it were short or something, it would look like an oil slick.
Okay, I got to tell you,
I'm grateful not to have that problem.
If you missed the Twitter, see, this is the kind of thing you miss out on if you're not paying attention to the Twitter. I knew what scrunchies were, truth be told, but they were talking about scrunchies, and I had to play the idiot. I was like, okay, what are scrunchies? And Bonnie said they're a staple. So I then just confused staplers with scrunchies. Every time that we were talking about scrunchies, I'm putting out pictures of staplers. Anytime we're talking about staplers, I'm putting out pictures of scrunchies. Everybody had a good time with it. But now, I mentioned that about the haircut, and they think I should show up wearing pigtails one time.
Oh Lord, no.
Napoleon Dynamite that stuff, man.
Yeah, and so they're actually talking about that, and I'm thinking, okay, we got to come up with something, and if they do it, I'll do it. I'll do a whole episode with the pigtails.
Oh Lord.
So
Seriously.
At least people don't think you bald. Everyone says you wear your hat all the time. I'm like, listen, people, I have a whole head of hair. I grow hair. I said, but for me, I just like a short haircut. I went to barber school almost 20 years ago. I cut my own hair all the time. But everywhere I go, man, you in that hat. I'm like, first of all, I love my Kangol. And I have probably 20 black Kangol. Let's start there. But in every TV show, every movie or whatever I'm in, I got my hat on. So when I take my hat off, people are like, wow, you're not bald. I'm like, really? I'm not Samuel Jackson.
So I'll tell you what. This is what I'll say, because a lot of folks are like, yes, wear the pigtails. Okay, I'm fine with it. I don't care. I don't normally wear pigtails, and if people want to see me in pigtails, whatever. So this is what we need to do. What has to happen? Like,
if you do that, bro.
Huh?
I'm gonna need a safe place if you do that. I'm gonna have to find a safe place for myself.
So what we need to do is between now and Saturday when we have Joe on, let's find something that they need to, if they do it, I'll do it, and then we take that week off. That gives them a week to, I don't know, they're saying new followers to the Love America Tour Twitter page, or a certain number of donations to the Love America Tour, some kind of thing like that. I don't know. Let's think about it, and then we can talk about it again on Saturday. And then if they do it while on our week off, I will come back that Wednesday and I will have pigtails for at least part of it. Might have to take them off. Might have to take them off before we get Corin in, because he's not going to be able to handle that. But I'll do the first part with it.
He wouldn't stop laughing at you. I'm telling you right now.
Which is fine. He's allowed. I'm okay with it. I got thick skin. As long as I get a staple maneuver and can get them out, we're good.
Listen, somebody's going to make a whole photo page with you like they did me on the side.
It's going to happen sooner or later anyway. And if they're laughing at me and having a good time, I'm good with that, because they're having a good time, and at least they're not laughing at somebody else that may not be as confident in themselves yet.
Right.
I'm totally okay with it. I love it when they're having a good time. So
absolutely,
because when they're having a good time, I'm having a good time. That's something I've noticed that I didn't know before. But so it's like, okay, I can do some goofy stuff. Why not?
Absolutely.
Always.
Let them laugh. Let them laugh at you while you're laughing. It'll make you feel better knowing that you're making a difference. That laughter is positive.
I got to tell you, I can see me on here too, so I'll probably be laughing at me as well.
You probably will. You'll be like, every time you see yourself, you'll be like, what the fuck?
So we'll come up with something, guys, by Saturday, and we'll chat about it on Saturday. And if we can come up with something and you guys can do it during the week off, that'd be just, why not? Let's have some fun with it. I like it.
I like it.
So, real quick, because we're kind of getting up on 8:30, which is 9:30 for Bobby. And does anybody have any parting thoughts about the unity or about the Lat family that's beginning to come together and such along those lines?
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing. It's everything that we talked about, Corin and I, whenever we first started, was making this happen in regards to unity.
Yeah, something just happened to Corin. He tried to say something and it's locked up, so I'm not sure what's going on. We'll watch that, and I'll.
Well, at least his eyes aren't closed.
There you go. I will say this. I will say that when we look at the way that we see our day, or we see the next person, the question is, did you see that person different than you did yesterday than you do today. Because trust me, when you see a person made you mad, you still see that person being mad the next day, or did you forget about it and say, "Hey, let me go talk to you. I'm gonna buy you some coffee." I think in where we at right now, let's get rid of the anger. Let's get rid of the hate. Let's get rid of all the malice and all the other crap that we had to deal with. And I need you to call each and every person that you've been angry with, and then don't remember why you're angry with them. Call them. Just tell them you love them. Take all of that negative that you had and put into a positive.
Now, Corin, you locked up your video. You were going to
Well,
say something.
No, I was expecting I had a schedule to have a live chat with my dad. He lives in the Philippines, and that was him just calling right now. So I just needed to answer that real quick. Tell him I call him right back. I wasn't expecting us to go quite this long, which is fine. But I am going to have to hop off here pretty soon so I can get a call into him while it's still a reasonable hour.
Absolutely. No, I just wondered if you had any kind of thoughts, any kind of message you want to give the Lapp family, as they're coming together, as we were talking about unity and positivity, and then we'll get everybody out to talk to.
Yeah, honestly, I think it just boils down to taking that moment to ourselves when we are about to become reactive. Just take that moment, whether it be responding to a tweet, whether like Bobby said, you either ignore it completely if you don't think that you can, respond to it in some type of, even if it's a negative message, in some type of positive way. I have people who bust my balls on Twitter a lot, and most of the time I tell them thank you, or hey, that's pretty funny. Even if they're trying to hurt my feelings, is reverse that, you know what I mean, and roll with it, and then you kind of take the power away from them,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just taking that step back and being more accountable to our reactions, especially online, because
Yeah,
I don't think
totally.
I think that very few people can say that they respond in real life the way that they respond on the internet, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that's probably the biggest recommendation. And if somebody's trying to needle you into an argument, thread your way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay, well, unless anybody else has got some words of wisdom, the chat is actually echoing this. Bonnie Bell says, "Throw positive back, and they'll be confused and stunned, and maybe feel better." Samantha Sheldon, "Rise to the heart," that kind of thing. Laughter is the best medicine ever, and it is. And all of these words are wise, and we are coming up on 8:30, so. If anybody's got any last second shout outs, now's the time.
hey, America, have a good night. Enjoy your moment. Be happy. Be loved to everyone. Start tomorrow like it's a brand new day. Do not let your negativity affect the rest of your week.
Somebody clip that.
Ta-da!
Somebody clip that so we can tweet it out all over Twitter tomorrow. All right?
That direction. What he said over there.
Absolutely.
What he said.
So
There we go.
With that, guys, we've wrapped up episode 12, and I hope you guys are having an awesome week. We will be back on Saturday with Joe Williamson and the gang that's all here, and we will see you guys next week. So thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, good game, guys.
See you later.
Peace, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Thank